What's up guys, it's Andy and I'm coming to you today with a barn vlog. It is a Saturday morning and it's feeling really reminiscent of when I used to film all my Saturday morning lessons. I have Alicia coming out to the barn today to film and be jump crew. I'm riding with my friend Stephanie, who has been putting some training rides on Elliot once a week. And we will also be riding with a new boarder that I can't remember her name because I haven't actually officially met her yet. She's brand new. She's Steph's friend and she just got a brand new Frisian cross and he's so cute. His name is Coda. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna just have a little jump around today. Steph's horse Buddy had a huge infection in his leg and so he pretty much hasn't done much jumping since October, but he is healthy and ready and raring to go. So we're probably gonna keep everything pretty low. Elliot had a really good jump school about 2 weeks ago, so I don't know how today's gonna go. I think just for the sake of transparency, I'll just post everything that I get. I rode last night to make sure that he was sound and sane and ready to go for today. He has had a cold, some sort of an upper respiratory infection the last week or so, and he does have a residual cough left over. So I don't know what that's gonna look like riding. That's kind of gonna determine our plan for the day. He did cough last night while we were doing some riding. Walk trot's been okay, canter, because you're working the lungs and it's getting all that gunk out. He has been coughing up, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll get to jumping, honestly. He was great walk trot last night. He was a little up. He didn't wanna come under himself into a frame at all for the first like 10 minutes. But he was sound. He was just kind of in a bad mood yesterday. And I cantered him a little bit both ways and he was okay. And then we started working on simple transitions on a figure eight and simple lead changes. And he started getting really fast, really up, really unfocused, panicky almost. And so I got off to lunge him and he lunged to the left fine. He was coughing, but I figure it's better for him to exercise and get that gunk out, kind of like how we would if we had gunk in our lungs. And I sent him to the right and he kept falling in, cross cantering. He was throwing bucks, which is maybe what I thought I was expecting from him under saddle, and that's why I wanted to let him do it on the lunge line. But then he started doing the NASCAR wheelies and I got severe PTSD flashbacks from how Gideon used to be on the lunge. And I would like to think I have better grip now, but I pulled him in to get him to change his lead and he just turned his head at me, whipped that line out of my hand, huge buck, and took off. Now, there was no one else in the arena, otherwise I would have definitely tried harder to hold on, but he did pop my elbow and I just kind of lost a feeling in my arm. So I was like, whatever, I'll just let him calm himself down. Well, the lunge line ended up between his two back legs, so now it was chasing him. So he was galloping and galloping and galloping. And I just tried to stay calm and I stayed in the center and I talked quietly to him and I told him to whoa. And eventually we do some liberty work. So once he could focus a little bit, he stayed in a circle around me. I was able to crouch down and get him to trot, get him to calm down. I did grab the line once he was a little bit calmer. And unfortunately, because it was between his back legs, he got scared when I picked it up. So he stopped, but he started spinning. So he had now at this point bound all four of his legs together and he was starting to panic. So I just kind of grabbed him by the head and I'm like, cut the shit. He stopped, which was great. And I was able to unhook him and unwrap him. He's never done that. So I don't know if he was just in a bad mood yesterday or if there's been a lot of like really cold weather and then a lot of snow and now it's gonna be 45 degrees today and I know he's not feeling the best, so I don't know what he's gonna give me today, but for the sake of transparency, I'll just put in the video whatever we end up getting for today. So let's go out to the barn. So we'll do a little voiceover. I would like to say that in most cases, you usually say like, oh, that feels so ugly, but then you like watch your video back and you're like, wow, that looked a lot better than it felt. That was not the case today. Unfortunately, this was just as ugly, if not uglier than it felt. So I gave you the little lowdown of how crazy Elliot was the night before. And so this was a significant improvement. However, it still was not great. He was pretty jazzed to be riding with other horses. I can't think of the last time we were in an arena with more than one other horse, let alone jumping and watching other people jump. So he was pretty excited. It took him a while to come into frame a little bit, and we just walked, trotted, and cantered. He was really spooky at the far end with the sunlight coming through the window, which was weird because he's never been like that before. So I was just kind of holding on for dear life. Canter, he was just kind of unbalanced. His walk trot always is relatively good. And then Canter, he is just kind of a special boy. And we will be starting training. I did have a training evaluation done on him, as well as getting myself back into lessons once a week. So hopefully that will help us, because when the trainer rode him, he was beautiful, which means I'm the problem and I don't know what I'm doing, which is fine. I'm an adult Amy. I never claimed to know what I was doing, but I think we've got a pretty good start. So here he was just really jazzed because other horses had been cantering and now it was his turn. So we eventually got our canter. He's been really slow to pick up on the left. He'll like tranter where he trots in the back and it's kind of bizarre, but he cantered really nice. And I think the problem we had this day mostly was when I asked him to come back down to trot, which normally he's super good about. I actually had a hard time getting him to pick a relatively normal pace. So here you can see he was just like flying by the seat of his pants, throwing his head up. I'm getting behind my center of gravity. I'm starting to be a little more critical of myself. And I know that I really need our new custom saddle to arrive. We're probably still 4 weeks out, which really sucks, because it's definitely hindering my position as well and contributing to it. So to the right, his canter was really nice, and he was coughing a little bit here at first, but otherwise he kind of got it together and wasn't too bad. His cough is definitely improving, and he was so nice and round on the circle. So after the circle, I let him be done and then he spooked here, and so I pulled him around because he was being ridiculous about the stupid sunlight. And now we'll get into the jumping. So I totally overshot this with my body. I was trying to stay quiet. I should have just two-pointed the whole way. And then you can see he's just like raring to go, which I guess is a good thing. Like he likes the jumping, but we fight over. He wants to pull me there. I don't want to do that. And then we get in an argument about where to take off. But this jump was significantly better. We kind of agreed. He's still kind of throwing his head up after a jump. He doesn't know how to stay low and follow, but it'll come in time. And again, I've started this horse over fences with no professional training and no professional help, and he's jumping flower boxes. Come on, guys. I mean, we're doing good for where we're at. This was where he started to act up kind of weird, so he started getting a little delayed in his thought process and forgetting what to do with his feet. And with this particular X coming up, we've jumped this flower box before. It's maybe the biggest cross rail we've done with it. So we're coming and he feels good and I feel him suck back just a little and I look like I'm pushing out a fart. But he just really sits back and launches himself over this. And I can't get him to stop doing it. So spoiler alert, this continues to happen. So he's just waiting and delaying and I'm pushing him over and he's not trying to refuse. He really isn't. He was just being very honest. Those first two fences, I was looking down and he was being honest about it. So he tried a straighter, better approach. I didn't look down, but he's still kind of just like launching himself up. And to end it out, we had a really nice canter, and so I brought him around to this cross rail, but he still doesn't know what to do with his head. I don't like the running martingale. We're going back to the standing. And I got these really cute photos of him. He was so adorable. There was someone up in the loft. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you for the next one.